Why wouldn't they tell us that these are watercolor? Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today we're unboxing the March 2020 ArtSnacks Basic Box. I had no plans to do another ArtSnacks anytime soon, but they had an awesome deal going on with Tombow. Everyone who received the March box will also be receiving a free bonus box from Tombow, so I jumped on that. I don't have my Tombow box yet, and at the time of recording this, I haven't seen any spoilers yet either. I hope it has something to do with their new alcohol markers. As I usually do with these unboxings, I'm going to read through the card and review each of the supplies as they come up, and I'll have all the listed retail prices and my value and savings calculations in the description box down below. The card lists prices in US dollars, and I'll have them converted to Canadian dollars and pounds sterling as well. The footage you're watching will go ahead and flow into my ArtSnacks challenge piece, but in response to a critique I got on my last Scrawler Box video, I'll pop the items I'm talking about back up in the corner of the screen for clarity. This box seems to be watercolor themed, and you know I like watercolor. It's right up there with alcohol markers and a colored pencil on my favorites list. The first item on the list is a 10mm tube of Rembrandt Watercolor. The listed retail price is $12.95 US dollars, and the card says, "Made in Holland, Rembrandt watercolors are adored by professionals all over the world. This paint is formulated using the highest concentration of pigment and pure gum arabic, which produces pure, intense color. 46 new and improved hues have been recently added to the Rembrandt watercolor line. Which one did you get?" I got number 805 Copper, which is a mica pigment and has an ASTM Lightfast rating of 1, which is the highest rating. This paint actually goes down amazingly opaque, probably owing to the mica, and it really does look like copper. I have a lot of gold tone metallics in my Gansai Tambi collection, but I didn't have any coppers, so in that way it's a welcome addition to my collection. I also just generally love everything I've got so far from Rembrandt. I really like this brand. I do have some criticisms though, and I suspect this will apply only to the metallic hues. I don't have any other Series 3 Rembrandt watercolors to compare it to, but I do think we can blame this on the mica. This paint is really finicky to water down. Once it's on the paper, it isn't very eager to water down at all, and once you do water it down, or if you water it down on a palette first, what you get is flecks of copper suspended in a transparent wash. Basically, the mica itself is the only pigment, and it wants to stay in fairly visible particles. I don't quite know how they've managed to make the mica particles look so richly copper, because mica usually looks quite gold, but that's what I'm seeing. When you dilute this enough to break up the mica, there's no other pigment suspended in this paint to fill in the gaps. That means this is good for details or as a final layer, but if you're going to use watercolors traditionally, you're not going to want to rely on just this hue to cover a large area. Next on the card is a Royal & Langnickel Menta Series 88 brush, and mine is a number 4 round. I've seen Instagram photos of this box and talked to one other person who received this box, and I know there was a variety of shapes sent out. I've seen angle brushes, mop brushes, flat brushes, and an interesting pointed oval. Honestly, I was hoping for that pointed oval because I don't have anything like that, but there's nothing wrong with another mid-sized round. The suggested retail price on the card is $4.19 US dollars, and the card says, "Beautiful watercolor deserves a beautiful brush." With soft, synthetic bristles, the Royal & Langnickel Menta brush is made specifically for watercolor painting. It holds a generous amount of color and is extremely resilient. The acrylic handle can soak in water without cracking or swelling. So far, I've found that the handle is extremely flexible to the point that it always feels like I'm going to break it, and that makes me feel like I'm using a very cheap brush. At the listed price, this definitely isn't meant to be their cheapest brush. They do have a popular line that goes for about $1 US each, but it's also certainly no Princeton Neptune. I do like the angled end of the handle though. In the last week or so since I opened this box, I've got far more use out of this brush using the angled handle tip to mix on my palette than actually using this as a brush. Next we have our fine liner, the Graphite Brush Liner. According to the card, it retails for $3.79 US dollars, and the card says, "Make a statement with the Graphite Brush Liner. From super fine lines to big, bold strokes, this pen offers amazing versatility. Waterproof, pigmented ink flows consistently from its springy brush nib and delivers lush black color. It strikes the perfect balance between flexibility and responsiveness. I'll be sharing some real-world pricing research for all of the products in this box in the description, but I wanted to call out this product in particular. This is one of the first brands that Marker Universe brought on board after they lost their Copic distribution license, so I've been aware of them for quite a while now. They're a French company, and they make an excellent line of alcohol markers that I'd really like to try, and they also make these lovely pigment liners that rival Micron's and Copic multi-liners. Marker Universe is absolutely not the cheapest North American source out there for anything they carry that other North American retailers also carry. I haven't bought anything from them since they lost the right to make Copic Colors 3-packs, because there's always a cheaper retailer I can buy the same stuff from. That said, Marker Universe is selling these liners open stock for $1.89 US. ArtSnacks wants us to believe these sell for $3.79, almost $2 more. And like I said, Marker Universe is not the cheapest. I'm sure you could find a better deal. Last but not least, we got a 4-pack of Brunnseal Expression colored pencils. The card tells us this 4-pack has a total retail value of $7.78 US and says, "We specifically designed this pack of Brunnseal Expression colored pencils just for art snackers. Imported from Holland, these cedar-encased pencils are packed with quality pigments. Barely any pressure is needed to achieve bright colors thanks to this pencil's strong, thick 3.3mm core. The vivid hues will pop off your page. These are indeed very nice, brilliant colors. There were a few different 4-packs sent out, and I seem to have got the primary/secondary set. Primary red, primary yellow, nice warm orange, and what looks like a sap green. I've seen a blue and green C-tone set, I've seen darker fall colors, and I'm pretty sure I've also seen something with a pink. These blend together nicely too. I was able to make a nice little rainbow gradient quite easily. Did you notice though that the blurb on the card makes absolutely no mention of wet techniques? They really should have, because these are watercolor pencils. They don't activate amazingly well on paper, but if you pick up the color off the leads with a wet brush, you get gorgeous watercolor paint. Why on earth would they leave that fact off the card? I decided to embrace the watercolor nature of the pencils and did an entirely watercolor floral wreath design. I'm happy to report that the graphite fineliner is waterproof pretty much instantly. By the way, the paper I'm using is old medium weight mixed media paper, nothing spectacular, and all of these materials performed quite well on it. For the curious among you, I did go look it up after, and the Plus subscribers also received a full-size 7x10-inch 300 GSM cold press watercolor pad by Gumbacher, a Princeton Velvet Touch No. 8 long round brush, and a Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle watercolor pencil. Final verdict, I think this box is very nicely curated, and although I'm a little disappointed the main brush wasn't a Princeton, I don't feel like the basic box customers got ripped off. I think the supplies everyone got are great together, and the Plus editions are just that, nice additions. I do really like that aspect of how ArtSnacks handles having 2 tiers, unlike Sketchbox, which tries to give everyone the same quantity and category of items and compensates for the price difference by giving the higher quality versions of everything to the higher tier customers. In that case, the basic always feels like a ripoff when you see what premium got. You can check out my pricing research below, but real world prices seem to indicate that this box is actually worth $8 to $9 US less than the total you'll get if you add up the suggested retail prices on the card. As I'm doing this voiceover, I haven't finished my calculations yet, but I'm sure that means this box isn't technically worth it based on price alone. But remember that this box in particular comes with a free bonus box of Tombow supplies, so cut the box cost in half, and then this is absolutely worth it. I can't wait to review that Tombow box when it arrives. Did you get this box? What did you think of it, and what colors did you get? If you're looking for another video to watch, here are some suggestions on the left of your screen. I've got lots more coming this week with my regularly scheduled video on Thursday, and bonuses on Friday and Sunday. See you then!